You are live.
You are.
I'll believe it when I see it.
You are looking live. Hello, everybody. How are we doing? Let's wait for everybody to stream on in here. I'm Jake Mintz. That's Jordan Shusterman. Who are you?
I'm Steve.
Nice
to meet you.
Steve. We are here at the Karbach Round Rock Classic at Dell Diamond in Round Rock, Texas. And we are very happy to be here. First of all, it's amazing that we're here and being a part of this
Pretty sweet.
This weekend. LSU Kansas State getting started in about 27 minutes. We wanted to hop on here and tell you what we're thinking about going into the tournament.
Steve, before we begin, though, we need a weather report from you. We are looking out at the field beyond the camera. What is it, Steve?
Right now, partly cloudy, pretty overcast, kind of glum.
Glum.
I would argue glum is in the cards for what we're seeing right now.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of rain, but that shouldn't come to as a
Sprinkle.
surprise to anyone. My left knee's been a little tight today, so I knew it was going to rain.
Okay.
I forgot to share that information with coaches. So
Are you like when a dog knows there's an earthquake coming?
Yeah.
You're your knee in rain?
It's very similar. Very.
So we got here a couple nights ago, and we were lucky enough to be at the workout yesterday. So we got to see all four teams. That's LSU, that's Kansas State, that's Sam Houston State, and that is, of course, the Iowa Hawkeyes, who finished up last night. Where would we like to begin with our takeaways from workout day? Steve, I know we got to talk to all the teams. We got to talk to some of the best players on these teams. Who stood out yesterday in the workouts?
The Iowa baseball team took me by storm. I did not see it coming. Coming into this, I had researched, I knew the names, did not know the personalities. Let me tell you, love the personalities. We got Blake Guerin. He's awesome. He's like a 6'6", 280-pound first baseman. He's a freshman. He's 19. He looks like he could coach the team.
It was nice to finally find someone that you could physically look up to.
Yeah. And I look up to him both physically and spiritually.
Yes.
The best part about meeting him was that Blake, you see him, you're like, that guy's 40 years old. He's enormous. And then he talks, and you're like, oh, no, you're 19.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, just turned 19. So I don't know how much action he's going to get, but he was super fun to watch. Obviously, people are excited about Brody Brecht at Iowa. I know he's starting tomorrow's game. But Kansas State LSU is a nice little purple showdown we have to start off this tournament. Kansas State definitely has some interesting players, both for this year's draft and for next year's draft. But, yeah, what about Kansas State? Has you excited?
I want to say, I think we need to raise the stakes, Steve. Winner gets purple.
Yeah.
Losers got to change.
I say loser going to have to go Skins. I think it's fair.
For the rest of the weekend.
Oh,
Wow.
Man. And anytime they play a purple team after, they're Skins now.
I support that. I don't know. We'll see how the coaching staffs feel about it. Steve, LSU, they're pretty good, right?
They're really good at baseball.
What was it like to see them in person? You know, we thought about LSU so much over the offseason, over the winter, and here they are, right in front of us, about to play a baseball game. What was that experience like for you?
It was a lot like, this might take a second to get there, but the feeling will be encapsulated. My sophomore year of college, there was a T-Pain concert that no one went to other than like me and maybe 20 other kids. Don't know why. T-Pain's lit. It was awesome. But I touched his hand. I gave him a high five. That's how I felt with the LSU Tigers. That wrist, just fingertips. Nothing. Didn't get any
that
sound.
rush
No
with
nothing.
greatness.
It was just me. And
So that's what you talking to Tommy White. That's how that felt.
I can't
Yeah.
wait for LSU's tiny desk.
Yeah, honestly, it's going to be a world tour by the end of the season. So yes, LSU very excited about, and then Sam Houston State. I mean, how much of a home field advantage should they have? I know they're 2.5 hours away, but the entire roster is from Texas. I have to think that has to give them some kind of edge. I don't know what, but I am curious to see if that helps out the Bearcats with the K. Hashtag Eat 'em Up Cats. If that helps them this weekend, I don't know. Sam Houston State has some interesting players.
I think it will, just because, as you know, the equator, when you're at the equator, the Earth's spinning at a greater rate than when you're more northern.
Sure.
So Sam Houston, they're used to the spin level of the Earth.
I don't know if they're farther south than LSU, but still, the point is I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, LSU has the edge too.
They are definitely closer to the equator than Iowa and Kansas State.
They're used to the turbulence of the earth, is what you're saying?
Yes, yeah, they are. Their
Okay.
cerebellums are in sync.
So we're about to see Paul Skeens here for
Yes.
LSU.
Yeah, we are.
What takeaways of seeing Paul Skeens in person yesterday?
He is just like Captain America.
So tall.
He is who I want defending this nation.
Well, bad news. He's at LSU now.
Yeah, he's fun to watch play baseball.
Well, we got to watch him hit. We haven't even seen him throw. We watched him take some BP yesterday. I don't know how much he's going to hit for LSU this year because he might just be a top 5 pick as a pitcher. But yeah, I'm super excited. I mean, his stuff looked ridiculous last weekend. And I think with respect to Western Michigan, hopping off the bus right before game time, I think Kansas State will be a little bit more of a test for Paul Skeens. So I'm looking forward to see how he looks against maybe a slight tick up from competition.
Well, let's talk about Kansas State. We did gloss over them a little bit. The guy who stood out to us, Roberto Pena, a.k.a. Chamo, 4 schools, 4 years, no problem.
4-school guy. Started Florida, went to Central Florida Junior College, bounced to South Florida, and then what's the natural conclusion of that? Kansas State.
Of course.
And so now he's here. I knew he played some outfield. Looked like he was taking some grounders at second. I'm just excited to see him in the lineup. A ton of homers in his college career. So an awesome guy, obviously, too.
Fun guy to talk to.
Yes.
Good personality.
Yeah.
And I think, my takeaway from being around the Kansas State team, that's a bunch of Midwest kids. Like that's a bunch of kids grew up on the plains, munching on corn, and it is nice for a guy with the nickname Chamo, who was born in Caracas, Venezuela, and grew up in Miami, to roll into Manhattan, Kansas, and add a little bit of, seasoning to the proceedings, I think is what I'll say.
Yeah, I think it's also fascinating. He learned English when he was 12 when he moved over here, and then you go to Kansas, it's like, that's a big leap, I feel like.
Yeah, that is impressive.
Different English that he was learning in Florida.
Steve is still learning English.
That's definitely true.
As a first language.
Very loose grasp, but I'm a grasp.
Grass. Well, it's a good thing is that you talk on podcasts for
good,
some percentage of a living. Other matchups we're looking forward to. I mean, I mentioned Brody Brecht on Iowa. He will start tomorrow. We'll get Iowa's number 1 starter, Ty Langenberg, going later on against Sam Houston State.
I'm curious to see the Iowa-Kansas State matchup because there's a lot of overlap there in terms of the recruiting base.
Sure.
So there are a lot of kids on these teams, I'd imagine, who were seen by one team and not offered by the other and went to the other. And so there's a lot of bad, not bad blood, but not good blood between those two groups.
I think there's going to be some Pretty Woman moments in there,
I don't actually.
You don't think there will be?
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Pretty Woman moments where it's like, oh, you didn't like me when I was down, but now I got it like that.
Oh, but
now I'm good. It's
I
similar to the Khloe Kardashian revenge body, which you probably heard me talk about last year.
That's a little more familiar.
Yeah, I'm just
a
trying.
little more of a recent.
I'm trying
reference.
to take a step away from the Kardashians.
That's good. That's real growth, and move back to Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
Steve, I am most excited about, again, LSU. Like, you cannot possibly encapsulate the amount of talent on their team in one podcast, in one preview. And every game that they play in is another opportunity for you to see someone, whether it's a kid pinch hitting in the 8th or a reliever coming in the 7th up by 10. Every player that is playing for LSU has to be ridiculously talented. And so I am paying attention to everything on that team at all times. And it's arguably the only team in the country that is like that. And that's why I'm so excited to watch them this weekend.
I'm interested to see how they deploy Christian Little, who transferred from Vanderbilt and looks enormous.
Yes,
he
not
looks
Christian Little.
He looks Christian
large.
stacked.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, go ahead.
In a good way. Yes.
Yeah, just massive guy. Hit the weight room. He did.
Yes, he spent all offseason getting larger, and he was deployed in an interesting way. He hasn't started yet for LSU. They're using him out of the bullpen in bulk, and I'm interested to see how they use him over the course of the week.
Yeah, apparently the portal has a great weight room. I mean, while you're in that portal, you can really get after it, apparently.
Yeah.
Better than our weight room here.
I would imagine.
That's why I was only in the portal for like 4 days, because the weights were just so intense. What they don't tell you is when you're in that portal, what happens.
You can get large and in charge. So yes, I agree with that. Christian Little, definitely excited to see that. And then the other thing is, I mean, it's a little chilly here today. We are playing in a minor league ballpark with decently large dimensions. I hope we see some home runs. Again, a lot of the other parts of the country, college baseball, the ball's been flying. BP, how many home runs did we see yesterday? 10 in 8 hours?
Maybe.
10 is optimistic.
Yeah, I hope that we see some dingers. Roberto Pena is my pick for that. Yeah, we'll see though.
I will go with Dylan White.
Dylan White. Tell me about him.
The new hybrid.
Tommy Cruise going big deep.
So what happened there is my brain got caught in between two things, and the one
You have to pick one.
I'm just gonna say I'll take Dylan Cruz and Tommy White
Both of them going deep. All
back
right,
to back.
Steve, who's your
Even though they're
homer?
not hitting back to back.
Who's your homer pick?
I like
I
Roberto.
think they are.
You know what's funny? I have a friend named Dylan White.
That's the problem.
That's what
Does he
happened.
Does he
Well,
play for LSU?
Is he going to homer this week?
Shout out to Dylan White.
Is he going to homer this week?
If Jake's friend hits a home run at the Karbach Classic, I'll pay everyone $1 million.
Oh man.
Steve, who's your homer pick?
My home run pick, Roberto Pena, I think is a lock. He is
A
impressive.
lock.
Okay, I already picked him, so let's spread the love.
but you took him.
I said it before.
Okay,
So go ahead.
let me go.
you got-
I'm gonna take Paxton Kling
Oh, okay.
as my homer pick.
I believe he's
Freshman-
batting 7th or 8th today.
Yes, freshman from LSU from the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania. I would say college baseball's response to Trevor Lawrence from a visual perspective. He's got the
response.
hair. He's got the hair.
How
He's
will
got
we
a-
rebuttal?
College football said Trevor Lawrence, and college baseball said we need to do something. Paxton Kling. Who you got?
I'm going Trey Morgan. I
Okay.
love
Oh,
the kid.
man, all
I
right.
think he's got it.
Okay.
If I'm picking Sam Houston State batter, I'm going to go with Justin Wischkowski, who's a big hitter for them. So a lot of options. We got Payne. We covered. Okay.
They were
And then-
certainly
and then
smaller,
Iowa.
Sam
Yeah,
Houston
that's
guys.
true. They were not quite as physical. Iowa homer picks. I mean, I don't know if our guy Blake's going to play. Keaton Anthony.
Keaton Anthony
would be my pick to
That's a
homer
good choice.
for Iowa. All right,
That's all I got.
think that's it. We got the anthem coming up here soon. So again, make sure you are tuning in. Purchase a streaming pass for the weekend. Maybe
Do
a day
it.
pass. All the broadcasts on there. We'll be hopping on the broadcast at some point this weekend. We'll be recording podcasts over the course of the weekend. And yeah, good luck to the 4 teams competing. And we are looking forward to watching some baseball. That is the sport we are here to watch, and we hope that is what they're playing.
Take me out to the
Ball game.
We're ready.
Yep. Locked.
Loaded.